needs to be discussed, and we'll ask you to come forward to the microphone, adjust the microphone so that it picks up your voice, state your name, and present your request. The board will ask any questions they have. Then anyone wishing to speak about the proposal will be asked to come forward and voice their opinions. If there are sides on a particular thing, each side will have 10 minutes to speak. All comments should be about the project being presented. This is not a venue to air personal grievances. If you hear the gavel, you are out of order. If you persist, you will be removed from the meeting. Once your request has been heard and the board's decision is rendered, you may leave the meeting. However, if you have questions for the staff, please wait until the meeting is over to ask them, or you may contact staff at the office. Once public testimony and discussion for a particular item is concluded, the members of the board will deliberate and render a decision. Members with a personal or financial interest in any item are required to recuse themselves from voting. All decisions by the Architecture Review Board are final. Any person having a request for a certificate of appropriateness denied by the board may appeal such denial to the Montgomery County Circuit Court. Any such appeal can be filed with the Circuit Court within 30 days of receipt of your notice of the final decision of the board. We have 5 members present, and it takes 5 to pass a motion. Six. Thank you, Katie. If you'd like to delay requests because of the numbers of members present, please let us know at the time your request is announced. Let me take this opportunity to introduce our board members. I'm Elizabeth Brown, chairman of the board. Jake Johnson. Mary Robinson is not here. John Hayden, Sam Yaus, Katie Williams, and Kalia Bell. Thank you. Our land use staff is Paula Wade, Andrea Spriggs, Warren Adams, Russell Stringer, and Orem Snow. All right, the first item on the agenda is Leon Harris, 3123 Norman Bridge Road.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Well, I'm back. Requesting the approval. The windows have been approved. Requesting the approval to have the porch enclosed. And
I'm having a hard time hearing you. I'm sorry.
To have the porch enclosed, 8 by 13, and the old driveway there torn out and replaced with new concrete. And I took the advice that was given from the last meeting in regards to the windows, door inserts. I purchased some French doors and removed the inserts, which we will be using as the windows, framed with wood. And the finished facial will be wood and stucco.
Okay.
And I guess I'm here at your mercy. If you won't tell me what direction I need to go into, that's the way we will go.
All right.
Because I have come to you with everything that I could. So
You were faithful in asking, Mr. Harris, and we appreciate you. Does the Cloverdale Idlewild Association have any comments about this? Or you want to talk some first? Are they here? Who can believe it? They're not here.
No?
They are here.
Charlie, you got anything to say on this one?
We're giving Mr. Harris high marks for persistence. As far as the parking pad is concerned, we feel that there's a lot of concrete there already, but 8 by 10 pad is not particularly intrusive, and it's going to be tucked up against the walkway. might not be that visible from the street because of the slope of the land, so we don't have a big objection to that one, but we do not like the idea of enclosing the porch. Changes the nature of the home, changes the nature of the house. It's all a part of the streetscape of the neighborhood along Norman Bridge Road, so we just would prefer to leave the porch open.
Okay?
Can I? Is the mic open? In regards to the porch, it was suggested that I use the pattern from the individual across the street.
Yes.
And I took that advice.
Okay.
And I went out and purchased from the suggestions of you, Ms. Brown, in regards to inserts. So I'm asking for the approval. The porch served no purpose just being open there for me. It would be beneficial for myself and my grandkids where there'll be more space for them to move about. It's a small house, a little 2-bedroom house, and they need more space. It would be more accommodating for guests and family members. So I'm reaching out. We understand the integrity of the neighborhood, but a lot of the integrity have been thrown out. So I'm asking for approval.
I don't have any problem with you enclosing the porch with windows or doors, but the drawings that you have provided don't really show that you're doing it. It's showing a wall with windows in it rather than windows with a supporting wall. It doesn't look like the porch across the street.
I didn't understand what you were saying. You were saying the wall.
What we were talking about was enclosing it like it were a sun porch with windows in a row together. And what you've got here is 2 windows inserted in a wall. That's not the same thing. This doesn't look like the porch across the street, which is solid windows with a piece of wall underneath it. Now, what you're planning to do may actually be something that looks like the house across the street, but what you've shown me here doesn't look like that. So I can't approve this.
Is this the house across the street?
Yes.
You're close. You're close.
It's very close. And it may just be a drawing problem rather than an actual problem.
What are you saying? You saying that the facial and the enclosure of the windows is not defined?
If you look at the house across the street, it's got a window, it's got some framing like this.
That's what the space in between will show once the completion is done.
But you've got, theirs is window, door, window actually, and you've got wall, window. It needs to be framing and windows, not framing and wall and windows. There could be a bulkhead wall at the bottom, or at the, or a fascia at the top, but it needs to read as primarily a glass enclosure rather than a wall with windows in it. Can anybody make that clearer?
That's a wall. The windows are inserted, framed in, cased in.
Right?
Okay, stuccoed around. And I'm trying to understand what you're saying, Mrs. Brown, because it's showing me, deep scale and depth, how the wall should look. It don't have the polish of the texture of the stucco itself. It's just a smooth surface there. But the casing around that window would depict the border.
I think what Ms. Brown's trying to say is the house across the street, there's no stucco wall. It's just trim around the windows, I think is what Ms. Brown is trying to describe. versus walls being punched in a stucco wall, having the window make up the bulk of the wall and trim frame between each one of the windows.
That's going to be framing, Ms. Brown. Oh, that's going to be framing with that entire wall. That's 8 feet. Look at the dimensions of your windows. Your window's going to have spacing in between, which is going to be covered with stucco. It's going to be casing in. The windows will be the open casing.
No, it needs to look like this. There needs to be no wall. It needs to be all windows and framing. That's what it needs to look like.
So, all right. There's a start. I agree. Making a room that you want to use that.
That would be clear last meeting.
Mr. Harrison left.
Mr. Harris left the building.
Can we continue this till next month?
Yes, ma'am. I need a motion, please.
Move to continue to next month.
Second.
All in favor? And I'll see what I can do to work this out between now and then. Thank you. Bonnie Deresin, Old Cloverdale, 825 Park Avenue.
I'm here to get approval for the after-the-fact painting of the door. It was read previously, which you guys denied back in February 2022.
Is there anyone in the audience to speak to this?
Ms. Deresin, can you pull the mic?
You have to pull the microphone right down to in front of you in order for the audience to hear.
I'm requesting the approval after the fact of painting my door black. Pretty simple. My next door neighbor actually has the exact color of black.
Do you have any comments?
I do, thank you, ma'am. Rob Hesse, Old Cloverdale Association. We do not oppose her having the door painted black.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Any other comments from the board? May I have a motion?
Move to approve as presented.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you. Thank you.
Ms.
The black
Deresin.
looks very good.
It looks great. Ms.
Perfect.
Deresin.
All right. Anita Girdner, Capitol Heights, 1728 Madison Avenue.
Good evening.
And you're really going to have to adjust the microphone.
I'm requesting to
Bring it to
replace
you, ma'am.
down.
It won't adjust that far.
It probably won't adjust right.
Thank you.
There we go. Thank you.
I'm requesting to replace the wood railing around my balconies with wrought iron railing.
So this is on the second floor, a little balcony right there?
Yes, you'll have to excuse that damage there. Someone drove up in my yard.
Oh, my goodness.
On purpose or by accident?
On accident.
Are there any comments from the audience on this project? Comments from the board?
This was not an original porch anyways. It looks like she's got a lot of wrought iron around her property, so it'd be more cohesive
And last longer.
and
be
last
safer.
longer. Take less space up there.
Yeah. I think this was done when I moved here in 1978. So it's been almost 50 years.
I feel real old now. Thank you. Thank
Any
you.
The
other
wooden railing has been there since '92.
Okay.
That's not the original wooden railing. It's rotted several times.
I imagine it has. And you'll paint the wrought iron black like the rest of the wrought iron railing in your property?
They advised me to put black up there.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. With a good coat of paint. Keep it from rust and weather.
If there are no further comments, may I have a motion?
Move to approve as presented.
Second.
All in favor? Excellent. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Charlie Colvin and the Cloverdale Idlewild Association. Request for the approval of a bridge for Cloverdale Park across the ditch between the park and Audubon. Is it Audubon? DuPont.
Audubon?
DuPont.
Oh, DuPont.
The idea for the bridge has been in work for a good long time. The park has increased in activity over the years. We've been raising the money for it, which has taken us a bit of time. We now have the money. The whole idea started with a handicapped young lady in a mobilized chair coming down DuPont Street. DuPont's one of the few remaining brick streets in town, and she was juggling and coming down, and she came the entire length of DuPont. We finally had to lift her over. We didn't have even ramps in the park at that time. So we started thinking it would be nice to have access to the park from the DuPont side. And we began raising money for that. We've gone through 2 or 3 designs. The original designs were to be wood to match the gazebo. But once we got permission from the city for a bridge and making sure that we don't have any projections into the ditch and that it meets the codes for the city and the handicapped access, the Americans with Disabilities Act requirements, all of those things, the city requested that we actually have a metal bridge so that it is easier to maintain and would be substantial and just be easier to take care of. So we plan to go ahead and do that, to paint it in a color that will complement the gazebo, if not match it pretty closely. The need for it is simply because the use of the park has grown over the years, even since then when we first started. We have our concert series every spring. We get 350 to 400 people in the park. The parking is the issue, but access to the park is yet another issue, and this would give another way to get in. We have a 4th of July parade that finishes at the park, and we have a Christmas caroling that finishes at the park, and so getting into the park from either side is a great benefit to us. We feel it'd be a real upgrade to the park.
Where is it going off of DuPont Street? Like, where is it going on DuPont Street, like center or
No.
closer to the?
One more. There it is. It's basically 140 feet from Ponce de Leon.
Okay. So
If you come south, you could actually make cross the bridge, and then there's kind of a sweeping trail over to the gazebo.
Okay.
That's where the majority of the activity is in the gazebo and in that area in front of the gazebo.
Okay. I think it's a great addition to the park.
Well, there's been a partnership with the city council, and the Rotary Club folks have stepped up to help us pay for it, and then of course the neighborhood contributes as well.
Does the Cloverdale Idlewild Association have any comments on this?
Have it what?
Does the Cloverdale Idlewild Association have any comments on this?
Any?
Any comments?
Do you have any
on this?
comments about this?
They support the issue. We took a vote every year for 14 years.
we were taking votes back when I was president. I mean, this has been a long road. I know Charlie's put more work into it than anyone. I really do think it will enhance the use of this park, which, like Charlie said, not just neighborhood stuff. People come from all over the city to attend the concerts and other things. So it'll really help. People can park on DuPont Street and not have to either hike one way or the other, or try to walk across some of those rocks in the bottom of that ditch, which can be, it's interesting to watch sometimes, but they need a bridge.
And I'd like to tell you that this will probably be the last upgrade that we'll make to the park, but there's a young lady I live with who wants to put a dance floor on the front of the gazebo, so I don't know what's going to happen.
All right.
One thing at a time.
Do you have comments?
I do. Rob Hesse, Old Cloverdale Association. The Old Cloverdale Association would like to thank the CIA for continuing their capital improvements of the park and acknowledge the work that's gone into it, and that it's not an easy task. I had someone approach me at a Old Cloverdale function this weekend and tell me how spoiled we are to have such nice things in our parks, such as the fountains and such. And I pointed out to her that it's the associations that the neighbors come up with the ideas, the associations help raise funds and do all the work, and it's usually years before they come to fruition, and that it's not the city providing these things for us, that it's the neighbors providing these things for ourselves. And she wasn't convinced that the city doesn't spoil us. So I just wanted to go on record to thank the CIA for a monumental task, for sure.
If she thinks the city spoils us, I would invite her to ride down Fairview Avenue. Just the paving alone. If we were spoiled, we would not be hurting our backs just riding in the car.
I agree, ma'am.
Thank you. All right. May I have a motion on this project?
Move to approve as presented.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Yay! All right. Lana Cavassa, 121 North Goldthwaite Street. Approval of a fence for the property.
Good evening. I'm Lana Cavassa for SCD Holdings. And at this property, we've had a problem with vagrants and leaving human excrement on the site. So we have a chain link fence now with razor wire on the top, and we would like to propose another type of fence that is used at Maxwell Air Force Base. It's actually their fencing that they have replaced recently.
Is there anyone from the audience to comment on this? Any comments from the board?
The only comment I have, of course, standard in a historic district, standard fence are 6 feet. Do you think that would it be a problem to trim off a couple of feet?
Yes, it would.
Okay.
So this is for the old Nicole Maylene building?
I'm sorry, for the what?
This isn't like the old Nicole Maylene building?
I don't know what that is, but it's 121 Goldthwaite.
It was an antique store, yes. It was in that building.
So this is a commercial property?
Correct.
And it's all paved around it.
And it's what?
It's all paved. You're like fencing a parking lot, essentially.
It is paved next door to the building, correct.
Any further comments from the board? May I have a motion?
I move to approve as presented.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? All right, thank you.
In favor?
Okay.
So it's 5-1?
No, go ahead and put me down. I'm not going to buck this.
Thank you.
Not that, well, it's an industrial site, so.
And Ms. Cavassa is doing yeoman's work here tonight. She has the next two projects. 422 Heron Street. What are we doing there?
Correct. Existing fence there also is a chain link with razor wire, and I would like to put a vinyl privacy fence there I believe, I don't know if we have a picture of that or not, but where the existing gate is there, a gate that's made out of vinyl. And the reason that the vinyl really is so hard to tell kind of what the product is unless you get right up on it, but just for maintenance purposes, just so that over the years it doesn't deteriorate and that you have urban blight there.
Is there anyone from the audience to speak to this project?
Yes, hold on, I have a comment from Cottage Hill.
Okay.
I'm unprepared. So Cottage Hill says, no objection to addition of a fence, but the vinyl is not an appropriate material. Fence should attach to the corner of the house, not the porch.
I have a comment as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Just in seeing different materials, by virtue of the job that I have, sometimes when you're in areas where wind, you have where wind is just can be very prominent. Solid pieces of vinyl tend to not last as long because that wind pushes that solid piece instead of having the wooden slats that allow the air to flow through. And that is just my opinion, and something for you to kind of think about. But those large swaths of vinyl in windstorms topple quite easily.
Well, they come in 4 feet sections. And so I think they've really improved that. I understand what you're saying about, I've seen some of those in the past also. I just feel like that now the strength of the material has improved as technology has improved.
Well, it's not the material, it's the fact that the wind will pull your supports in the ground clean out the ground. It's really, the vinyl is never the problem. It's gonna be a big old piece down the street. That's not the problem. But I'm just putting the information out there just because of what I've seen in the past. And of course, you're welcome to choose whatever you like, but fences that have some type of airflow through them tend to last longer because the air can go through them.
Yeah, the one that I've seen between it's almost like a privacy fence with the wood. It does have a little bit of space in between there, the one that I'm looking at.
Okay.
So maybe that would eliminate that. I just feel like that would be a better look than the chain link with the razor wire. But
Well, I definitely think it's better than the chain link and the razor wire.
Is there a problem with going back with a wood fence, painted white?
right, I don't want the maintenance of that over the years.
Have we ever approved a vinyl privacy fence? Has it ever come up?
I don't recall that it's ever come up. But
I don't
haven't
either.
been here forever.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Stringer. Is that on? Could we get Mr. Stringer some volume, please? Apparently he's got a better memory than I do. You're on.
In your neighborhood, and I think it was on Pershing Street, somebody put up a vinyl fence and it shone like the North Star. You could see it from 2 blocks away. It's white.
Did we approve it?
No, it was a violation. Y'all asked it to be removed.
Oh, okay.
Well, in this case, the trim around this house is all white, and I think the white would actually go well with the style of the house.
Color is not my problem. Material is my problem.
Yeah, we don't allow vinyl on houses. I think fences should be the same way.
And I understand it's maintenance. I mean, you install a white vinyl fence, you can go out with a hose, I guess, and clean it off. If you paint a pressure-treated, pine, which is common, you might have to paint it every so often.
What about if I bring a piece of the panel in for you all to look at?
I think the problem with it is that it looks too new for too long.
Okay.
And you like that, but it's not historic. Historic things, it would be better to do something like either use a white stain on the fence or use whitewash on the fence so that it will.
So do you think chain link with razor wire is historic?
I don't think that's historic either, but the standard is not, looks better than what was there before, or a lot of things would get put up that are not exactly correct. So I'm open to looking at a panel of the fence, but I don't want to lead you on because I'm very dubious. I think it's going to look too perfect. Your house is beautiful, but not perfect.
And I also agree with the opinion that the fence needs to start past
It needs to start at the corner of the house.
the
not
corner of the house proper, not the porch.
Well, there's a door there. There's an entrance door, so I think that's why.
There's a door at the corner of the house?
There is.
Is there a picture?
I don't know that there's a picture there.
Does the door go under the porch?
It goes into the basement.
Lana,
I don't see a view of that.
is it this, or is there one up closer? I didn't get a good angle. I didn't get one of the side that you can see the door.
It's kind of been hidden behind some trees and some shrubs and things there.
Is that the only door to the basement?
Yes, ma'am.
I didn't, we've never allowed a porch,
Fence to come all the way to
fence
the
to come to
corner.
the porch
Yeah.
front. It's intrusive. That's just not historically accurate. Were you gonna paint this fence?
No, it's in a product that you don't need to paint it.
Okay.
Would you like to continue this and bring us a copy of the panel and we can get a picture of where the door is?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
You need a motion to carry this one over to next month, Paul?
Yes, please.
Move to carry item 6 to next month.
Second?
All in favor?
Thank you.
All right. And 103 North Gulfwick Street.
Yes, ma'am.
Um,
We have three basic issues here. One is there were 7 chimneys. I think in this it says that there are 4 remaining, but there are 6 remaining chimneys. On the 7th one, which was an annex at the back, as we started to do some work on the interior of the house, we saw that the chimney was compromised. So for safety precautions, we took that down. We are asking that we not have to put that back.
Right. And what else? Are there several things on this house?
Yes, ma'am. So then there's a railing issue on the front of the house. I'm not sure what was approved for the railing, but we would like to continue the same pattern that's in the gazebo on the front of the house, which is a metal railing with a certain design on that.
Do we have any photographs of that?
Of what?
Of the railing?
Of what is proposed or what was existing?
What was existing?
Well, you're proposing to just use existing on the house that's on the gazebo.
Or was that
Correct.
Original.
Okay.
Hold on. I've got pictures of the front of the house. Hold on.
Yeah, do you have a picture of the gazebo?
I think she said she's got one.
It's a turret,
And-
really.
And then the third issue is that the new windows that we're putting on the back side of the house, we would ask that those be double pane instead of single pane, but would be the same single hung type window, just with double pane glass.
Which type window are you planning on using? Will it be like a clad window? Will the muttons be on the outside of the window?
Hilda. It's just they're very simple windows. They match the existing windows of the house.
But you just want double pane rather than.
Correct,
with
double
windows.
pane instead of
Okay.
single.
So we allow double pane wood windows or clad windows, but it's the thickness of the muttons and other items that we're talking about.
Do you know the thickness of the muttons?
There are no muttons. These are all 1/1 double hungs.
Okay.
Well,
So-
and the windows aren't why the wood windows would not require approval, but the staff was concerned that if the double pane glass was tinted, that it would appear more obvious if it were double paned. That's why the windows are on the agenda for y'all to look at. That's why we wanted to ensure the glass was clear, or that there wasn't going to be like a green tint that was going to give the windows a green appearance.
The green tint comes from being a low E window.
No, we have not requested for a low E for the windows, just a regular, no tint.
There's a picture in her thing too.
Like that.
Oh, the rail?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. The railing that's on the porch isn't of the original type. It would have had, and I'm just, not that I've seen it, but it would have had a wooden porch rail that was probably turned spindles. This is a Victorian house. What you've suggested is more neoclassical. The problem with going back with wood spindles and the height that it would have been when the house was new, or the original type, is that it's going to come to about even to my knees rather than anybody else's knees. And on this hill, I think that would be a safety concern.
Right, we would propose that they be what the code makes them
Requires,
be,
yeah.
36 inches, yes, ma'am. And I haven't found a picture that showed any type of railing on the front of this house, the old pictures.
There is one. I thought yes. You want to look at this? Here's a picture. And I was right. It's about at your, it's in my knees. Two glasses of champagne and I would be over the edge. I need someone else's ideas about this. Yeah. I think if we're going to, it's not that I don't think that what you've proposed is pretty. I think it is. But I think that if we're going to go back with a railing that's definitely non-historic, it needs to be plain. So I think that what you've got on the gazebo as just pickets and a top rail and a bottom rail is the most appropriate thing to do rather than doing this thing in the middle, because that really takes it into into a different era.
Okay.
So cheaper. I've actually suggested something that is less expensive.
Did you paint it white or black?
I think I'd paint it black, just because it ought to go away.
Okay.
You ought to see the house. Yeah. Any other comments from the board?
Are we good on the windows?
Yes.
Okay.
We just, they need.
Got a lot going on here. I'm trying to make a motion, and I want to make sure I got everything.
Oh,
All right.
the chimney. You want to talk about the chimney?
I'm guessing the chimney fell away, there were supports or whatnot, and it was pulling down on the house, which is what happened to my house, which is why I had to have the chimney removed.
Yes, sir. They can be quite dangerous.
Especially when the foundation of the chimney falls down and it's pulling literally on the house.
Wow.
That's a lot of weight. And I imagine with this
They
one,
are.
it was a whole lot of weight.
It's, well, it's original to the addition, which is still pretty old, but, I don't see, there don't appear to be any other chimneys that are that far out on the building anyway, so I don't think it's a huge matter.
That's the only thing where you see that.
All right, are you gonna do a motion? You're thinking.
Do you want to do these real quick one at a time, or you want to?
That's a good idea.
Okay, move to approve the window use as presented by Ms. Lana.
Second.
All in favor?
Was that Bell or Williams?
Bell.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Continue.
We voted and we all voted yes, I believe.
Yes, you did. So continue, John.
Okay, all right, continue on. The next one is the,
Move to approve porch railing, provided that it be substantially similar to that on the gazebo on property.
Second.
all in favor?
Thank you.
And there was a third item, wasn't there?
The
Yes,
chimney.
ma'am, the chimney.
Oh,
Move to
okay.
approve after the fact the removal of the chimney with no replacement.
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
I know you are tired of me, so I'll leave.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for
We'll see you
fixing
next
the
month.
houses. They're lovely.
All right. David Sumner, Cloverdale Idlewild, 655 Hubbard Street.
Good evening. I'm here to get approval to do a few things on my property. First one is a driveway gate at the top of the narrow part of my driveway attaching to the side of the house. It'll be roughly 10 feet wide, 5.5 to 6 feet tall on the gate portion. From the latch side post up the property line, I want to add privacy fence to connect to the existing privacy fence between my house and the neighbors.
You need to get closer to the microphone.
Sorry.
You're a bit tall.
Yeah, so that's the area of the driveway where I want to add the fence. In green is where the fence would be, or the gate, I'm sorry. And then in blue, up the property line. Behind the car, behind where the stump is, there is the corner of the privacy fence you can see to the right of the picture. It's a black privacy fence, so I just want to connect that together, close in that side of my yard.
Okay.
That's the front view of the fence. Just one design option I was able to throw together to get into the application by the deadline. That would be a steel fence. I think if you go to the next view, there's a perspective, and then after that, just the operation of the gate, the way that would open up towards the house.
Is this going to be an automatic gate, or are you going to have to open it?
Yes, it's going to be automatic.
You're not going to be able to get it, because the machinery that makes it open and close has to go somewhere.
Yeah, so there's a deck on the back of the house, and it's
Okay.
framed out there, so it attached to the side of the deck.
Okay.
And then that would be the mechanism to open it towards the house. And then in addition to just the vertical pickets, something to close in the gap, but also additional privacy. There's a privacy mesh as one option I was thinking, or that's option A, or option B, which is a wire mesh. The purpose there is with the vertical pickets, there's quite a gap, 5 inches or so, just for extra security. Any small animals, whatnot, not being able to get through, larger animals getting stuck, that kind of thing. So I just wanted to propose a couple options and get some feedback on what was appropriate or not.
Is this like an existing metal fence and you just want to put that fabric mesh on top of it?
No, this is to add to the gate on the driveway gate that I'm wanting to add. So,
Oh.
yeah. So it'd be on the inside, attached to the inside of the gate itself, for additional privacy, but also security.
Yeah.
And then this is the aerial view. So the second part of what I'm wanting to do on the property, the fence along the back property line is a chain link fence. It's been damaged a few times. I'm wanting to replace it with the same type of privacy fence, just for continuity. There are 3 trees that are kind of grown into the current chain link fence that would need to be removed. So that's A, B, and C. And D is a larger tree that's 3 or 4 feet from the existing fence. That would stay. That would remain. I believe one of the one that's labeled B is a smaller tree, and I've been told that I can remove it because it's about 6 inches in diameter. But the other 2 are closer to 12 inches. So just need approval to remove those trees.
Hackberry and pecan, Mr. Summer?
I believe so.
Okay. And are they much over, I can't really tell from this, Mr. Stringer, are they much over 12 inches?
Between 14 and 16 inches.
Okay. And are they up to the fence, breaking the fence, or?
They're right against it.
Okay. I had the same problem when I put a privacy fence in, had to have some stuff removed, so. I understand. Okay.
And then the third piece is on the bottom side of my house, or the western side of my house. There's a 6-foot area between the, or that's a ground view of the trees along the back fence. That was one to remove. And then this is a very bad picture. It was getting dark at the time, and the flash did not help. But so this is to the left of my house. You can see the corner of my neighbor's fence. I just want to connect my house to that, hide some of the mechanics, the outdoor unit, and the tankless water heater. But leave the gas meter on the outside of the fence for utilities.
Okay.
And then these were some pictures of different fence designs I was looking at. Either a solid fence or something with an open area at the top. The neighbors behind me, we've discussed replacing the fence. They're supportive of it. They're willing to chip in on the cost of the tree removal on the fence. So we've discussed having that open area across the top of the fence, but we really haven't decided how we want to go. And I'm leaning more towards cedar versus the pressure-treated pine. But again, they're splitting the costs, so they'll have their vote on the matter as well. I noticed in the comments there was a preference for a wood driveway gate versus a wrought iron style. No?
We've approved a lot of metal gates.
Okay.
It's not a problem. And I think that the polyester or whatever it is, mesh on the inside, that's not permanent. That's not a permanent fixture, so we don't have to approve that. The metal we would have to approve. I think the polyester would be better and something that's been used many times.
Okay.
So, and I think all the fence design options are fine.
Okay.
Any one you want to use would be fine.
Whatever, yeah, I was going to say that. All look good to me. So 6 feet tall.
You could get your neighbors to put it around my house. I would be happy too.
And the location of the fences and the gate, I don't think is an issue.
No.
No.
And the piece on the other side to connect with your neighbor's fence is not an issue. We don't usually approve the removal of large trees without replacements.
Okay.
So.
It looks like there's plenty of trees back along this fence line where he wants to.
And
I mean, that's pretty wooded back there, isn't it, Mr. Stern?
They would be missed. I've been in the backyard. They'd be missed.
My neighbors have offered to plant a tree, because when we're talking about removing the trees, I did mention to them that sometimes there's strings attached, taking a tree out to put one in.
Yeah.
So they've offered. We haven't got into the details of it, but we'd be open to suggestions on the type of tree replacement.
It would be nice to replace the 2 trees that are larger than 12 inches in diameter as it's recommended, but more in the, right now it's super hot, so to give them 6 months or so to
No, yeah, we
install
need
it.
the time frame needs to be like from November 1st to March 1st.
So, yeah. So I would recommend replacing the 2 trees in the location you desire, but in the season that they'll live.
Yes.
Yeah, not
November
now
to
when
March.
it's 100 degrees.
Yeah, people can't even live out there right now.
Is that acceptable, David?
It is.
Okay. All right.
All right.
That's good.
Can you wrap that up in a few thoughts?
Oh, I think I can do this one real quick.
What about neighbors?
What about the neighbors?
Is that it?
The neighborhood association.
Fence, driveway,
Oh, we got any
tree?
comments from the audience on this? Mr. Colvin?
Shelley?
Charlie Colvin with the Cloverdale Idlewild Association. We don't really have any objections to the project as he's described it. As far as the tree removal is concerned, if there needs a replacement, we'd leave that up to Mr. Stringer and let them work that out. As far as the fence goes, we kind of like D. I don't know if that's... Well, there, see, we agree. But we have no objections to the project.
All right. Do you want to make a comment? Okay.
Glenn Benet, 1349 South Perry. I guess I'm the only resident tree hugger. He had a picture of 4 trees. I'd like to go back to that. Which ones is he removing?
He's removing two trees larger than 12 inches.
So is that A, B, C, or D?
I believe it is D and
So you're removing 3 trees, not 2?
4 trees. 2
4
small trees and 2 large trees.
Well, the planet is short 1.1 billion trees, and he wants to get rid of 4 on the back end of his property. I assume because you want a straight fence.
Correct, and it's actually 3, so the D highlighted in green.
Okay, my suggestion would be move the fence a foot or 2 this way, make the fence straight, leave the trees. I mean, one of the things with Montgomery is we have trees. There's a lot of cities who would love to have the trees. I see no reason to cut down perfectly good trees.
Well, these trees are kind of considered your lesser type of tree, though, aren't they?
No, I don't consider them to be lesser type of trees. That would be John and.
I never said a pecan
hackberry?
tree was a lesser tree. Now, popcorn tree, I would go out and scorch earth every one of them. Hackberry, almost the same thing. I do think in this situation, though, given their location, and I will ask or make as a condition that the trees be replaced at the appropriate time. Can't do it now, of course, they'll die. But in any event, and I understand the gentleman's concern. We take trees very, very seriously here. We denied requests for tree removal on many, many occasions and upset some folks in the process, but hey, that's what we get paid the big bucks for.
And you're keeping the D tree, right?
Yes, I just wanted to.
So it's only
indicate-
3 trees.
Correct, yeah.
And one
Right.
of them is not we can't.
Yeah.
Yes,
The
sir.
one under 12 inches is not under our jurisdiction.
Diameter of the tree is under 12 inches. This board has no jurisdiction. You can cut any tree down under 12 inches.
Okay.
In any event.
Yeah, I just wanted to indicate D because that's the larger tree and it provides most of the canopy in the backyard. So.
Okay. All right. So can someone craft an elegant motion?
Well, this will be short and sweet. I move to approve petitioner's presentation, or move to approve as presented, provided that Mr. Sumner will work with Mr. Stringer at the appropriate time later this year to replace at least the 2 trees or 3 trees that will be taken.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dylan Norris, Garden District, 341 Winford Court. Concerns your deck in the back.
Hello, Dylan Norris, 341 Winthrop Court. I just want to put an aluminum cover over my back deck and then enclose a portion of that in make it a screen porch basically, and then add downspouts to the cover so I can get the water away from my house a little bit more. And so you can't see any of this from the front of the house.
So what you're screening is actually this inset into your house?
If you keep going, I can kind of, okay, so the part that doesn't have a rail would be screened in.
Okay, so all the way out to the edge of the deck?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Can you,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
can you describe the cover, the aluminum cover a little more? Does it have columns on it? Is it attached to the house?
So it'll be attached to the house, basically right where you see the eaves would come down to the end of there, come out, and then it would have columns at the ends.
So it's going to match the shape of the roof, the existing roof line, give or take?
It's not going to be a A-frame.
It's going to be, it's a shed.
Okay, it's a shed.
Yeah, it's going to just be a straight out.
Okay.
I wanted to do an A-frame, but I was advised that was extremely expensive.
And this porch would be in the back of your house, and you're in the middle of the block, so it's not visible from the street.
You can't see it from the beginning pictures were down the sides of the house. You can't see it.
I would like to compliment you on a very complete application, except it would have been nice to have a sketch of what the aluminum
Oh, sorry.
would have looked like, but that's all right.
Yeah, they didn't give me one either. It's a
But it will
bronze
match-
color, but it'll match the color of the windows pretty well.
Right, and you're not putting a new roof on your house like everybody else is on that side of the street today, all right?
Not yet. Hopefully no.
Everyone but Laura. Yes, all right. Any other comments? Any comments from the audience?
Laura Calloway, Garden District Preservation Association. We do not have any objection to the plan.
May I have a motion on this if there's no further discussion?
Move to approve as submitted.
All in favor? All right,
Thank you, guys.
certainly. David Vogel guessing, 1908 Norman Bridge Court. Mr. David did not come. 1908 Norman Bridge Court. My behind neighbor, actually. All right.
You want to pass it, or you want to, what do you want to do?
We'll carry it over automatically to
Carry it
next
over
month.
All right,
automatically.
since it's a no-show.
All right. Eric Torres and Norma Garcia, Cloverdale Idlewild, 3311 Wellington Road. All right, tell us what you want to do.
We want to put a porch in the front where the front door is, with a metal roof because the water leaks in with no porch being there at the moment. That's for the front porch right there where the door is, and then replace to the right on the side, replace that enclosure that was right there, to replace that with a window and make it clear. Also paint the brick also white.
Was there a covering on this porch before, or was it open?
No, ma'am.
All right.
Do you want to paint the entire house white?
Yes, sir. No, this the house white.
And you want a 22-foot long porch across the front?
Yes, sir. 22 by 6. By 7. Oh, por 7, excuse me. 22 by 7.
The problem I'm having, there are no drawings, no renderings of what you want to do, and I'm having a hard time picturing it in my head. I really do need some drawings
John, there's an example of a house, 11E,
Yes, sir. That was the vision.
that shows how that.
Yes.
But,
As
but
well
that,
as-
that house is nothing like your house.
Yeah, but the porch is about how we would want
But-
to do it, pretty similar.
But the rest of it's not. See,
Yes,
we,
ma'am.
we want to see that porch on your house, not
Yeah,
a-
only would
a brand new
only would be
farmhouse.
only would be editing the porch and nothing else. That was only on that picture. The main focus is just the example of the porch as it is in that picture would be how we're doing it for this house.
Well, let's start with the painting. The kind of brick this is with the textured surface doesn't really take to being painted very well. I would suggest a light wash to get the dirt off of it and just leave the brick like it is. That will last you another 40 years and with no maintenance, where paint is a high maintenance thing on a brick. So it needs to stay the color it is. The second thing is I wouldn't have any objection to you screening in the porch, but to turn the porch into a room is a different thing. And you saw that we had trouble in the very beginning of the meeting with someone who wanted to do something like this. I think it's inadvisable, and we'd really have to have more drawings and accurate drawings on how you plan to do it in order to have any, to be able to review it, really.
Yes.
Someone else talk about the porch. I don't want anybody in a situation where water is getting in their house because there's no covering, but it seems a shame. I mean, that the stone around the door is really beautiful, and it seems a shame to cover that up.
You know, typically in a door situation like that, it's not a all-encompassing porch in this type house. It's usually like one of those little arched.
A little hood of some kind?
Yeah, a hood type thing.
Or perhaps you could get an awning that would fit the door. You could also put an awning over the window if there's also water, you know, because of that.
Yes, sir.
Getting in that, and that would be less expensive than building a porch too.
It would just be just a simple porch, 8x8s and a
No,
metal roof.
smaller than that even. And this is where drawings would really be helpful to determine what we're all, make sure we're all on the same page.
Yes,
Could you come back next month, get some drawings together with everything you want to do, and that way we'll have an opportunity to look them up, look them over before we have the meeting, and when we have the meeting, ask questions, because it sounds like we're giving ideas, but it's kind of changing as we go. And again, without drawings, I mean, I understand an example of a front porch. I can kind of see that, but I want to see a drawing of the house where you have put exactly where you're going to put it, the dimensions, its material, things like that. So, could we pass this until next month and let?
Is there things we can approve now, other than the front porch? You know, but
Well, the repair of the brick, looks like they've got brick out there and they're going to have somebody ready to do it. The arch is falling out on the driveway side.
yeah. So, is there anyone to talk about this project in the audience?
Does Cloverdale Idlewild have any comments on this, Charlie?
Yeah, we've been watching this house for a while, and
It's a beautiful house.
It is, and just taking the items as they show on the agenda there, we would object obviously to the painting of the brick. As you know, we're waiting for a house to take the paint off that was put on inappropriately. And that petition's about to run out next month. Next month. The enclosed porch, we just opposed those. There was an enclosure on that porch before that was poorly done. And my understanding is once you take those off, you're back to the original house, and we should remain that way. And the house was designed that way. The house was also designed without a cover over that front porch. And in the interest of preserving it, it may be that an awning or something could be done, but I'm not sure that a flat roof can fit in there. I'm not an architect, so I'd have to see that design. The good news is, on the back of the house, we like the deck. That's a good idea. so we can jump in on that. As far as the trees in the front yard, they clear cut the front yard, and those stumps need to be dealt with, and some kind of tree replacement would need to be negotiated for that front yard too, because it looks pretty barren right now. Those are our initial thoughts, but we agree that there's very little information on how it would actually look if we went to approve it in its current state.
What size were the trees? Are you able to tell from the stumps?
They were big.
I'm sorry, ma'am.
What size were the trees?
I counted 7 that were above 12 inches.
Yes?
That house was in terrible shape. I mean, it was a disaster, and these folks have done a tremendous job on the inside of the house. It meant taking and putting in new flooring, new joists. The house had to be stripped down. We're talking about new wiring, new air conditioning. I mean, it has really been a big job, and they've done a great job on the inside. We're just kind of trying to make sure that the outside stays within the historic character of the neighborhood.
All right. You know, our job is to we want the house preserved, of course, and appreciate your efforts in doing that. But our job is to make sure that the house still has the original historic character. I don't think that a porch all the way across the front, practical as that would be for you, is something that's going to be easy to approve. An awning that even covers more of the porch. Probably get a storm door for that, for the front door, so that the rain won't blow up underneath the door, if that's a problem. Repairing the brick, you're doing a great job with that, and continue that.
You've made good strides on this house. I'm looking at it before you purchased it.
But we need to understand better what you're trying to do. And as Charlie said, you know, closing in the porch is on that end porch is probably not something that's going to be met with a positive response. So I would suggest doing something like screen or something like that, and using that for your major outside space on the front, and not the plain concrete porch. But I think that we can approve everything that what you're doing in the back and the repair of the brickwork, but we need to, if we're going to make changes to the rest of it, we need a better idea of what you plan to do.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Shall we continue this to next month so that you can bring back?
Well, but they can be approved to work on that.
We can approve the other things that we've talked about, but as far as the porch, the 2 porches, the covering, and then the side porch, we'd need to see better drawings about that before we can make a decision.
So the stuff in the backs, approve the stuff in the fronts,
Well, the
table.
repair of the brick is fine.
Yeah,
They need
preparing
to-
the brick. What about the trees? A painting's gonna be a no-go, I think.
Yeah.
Do you want to approve the new installation of the boards in the rear deck?
Yes.
Anything else we want to approve, and the rest we can just, we'll bring back and can deal with next month?
All right, repair of the brick, the deck in the back, cleaning with water and a natural bristle brush of the brick. They're gonna need to do that after they fix those arches anyway, repair the arches anyway. Johnny, you going through everything?
Okay, y'all ready?
Yep.
The two I've got, I move that we approve the request as presented for the repair and completion of the rear deck, and also the repair and of the from the arches from the doorway.
All in favor?
Okay.
I move the remaining items on the request be continued and carried over until the July meeting of the ARB.
In favor?
And that's for better renderings, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Do we want to vote on painting of the brick as well?
We can do that. I move to deny the request to paint the brick.
Second.
All in favor?
Thank
All
you.
right.
You need to state a reason, obvious.
Painting brick is not in keeping with the historical nature of the house or the neighborhood.
Thank you.
He does. He said that 2 or 3 times. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Do I have any additions or corrections to the minutes as mailed to us? I thought I'd finally found one, but Paula showed me the error of my ways.
Move to approve as written.
All in favor?
Second.
All right, and then we have an advisory. Y'all were given information regarding 1405 and 1419 South Perry and 118 Clanton Avenue. They would like to come talk about a compromise with the vinyl windows that y'all denied last month.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Evening.
My name is Josh Gradell. This is my wife, Rose Marvarella Gradell. We're the owners of 1405 South Perry Street. We currently live in 2481 East Cloverdale Park. We're here today. Unfortunately, we were not able to make the last venue regarding our apartment complex. Apologies for that. However, for context, I believe there was some information that was lost in communication during the application process. As such, we're here today to request consideration for a new application for a different iteration of vinyl windows that are currently installed in the Perry apartments. It would be an iterative process in the sense that we would like to encase one vinyl window and encase that in wood, put some wood buttons on there, and have it take photos and then bring that forward to the board for a new application for consideration for potential approval. So thank you for your time. That's what we're here for. Thank you.
Have we got any pictures of this?
No, ma'am. This was just something that we had communicated earlier. We stopped by. Unfortunately, we thought we actually had a forum tonight where we can potentially present it, but thankfully we're given some opportunities and time. So what we'd like to propose is the next iteration of this meeting, of this board, that we would provide photos and provide a kind of a side-by-side comparison for consideration.
So you're going to take the vinyl and encase it in wood?
Yes, sir.
I look forward to it.
So essentially, the sash would be framed in wood, and the
look forward to seeing that.
Sure.
I'll tell you just right up front, the primary problem with the windows is that they don't fit the opening. I don't think we've ever approved windows that don't completely, the window part doesn't completely fill the opening.
Okay, that might be something in the back of the property. And just for some additional context, we entered the property, we purchased the property around mid-November. There were some modifications already done to the home, to the apartment complex. And just for context and background, the reason why that was done was the interior of those windows that I believe you're talking about. That's the bathrooms. Those are the bathrooms. And so the old configuration there, the shower head was essentially spraying on those wood windows. And so my understanding is that those were replaced because of all the wood rot and the water damage. And so they raised it looks like it was raised so that way the water would not then touch that wood. But essentially replacing the vinyl. Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, and I would like to add that those few windows do not face the street. They face the inside of the property, so they're not street facing or facing it.
The other thing is that we really need to see an actual window.
Right. So we would invite, if it's a representative from this board, we would just say, here's a prototype. We'll take photos, invite anyone over to take a look and do a side-by-side comparison and present that all for you all for consideration.
All right. We look forward to having that.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
You're very welcome. There being no further business?
Chair, no further business, but I just want to remind everyone that the camp training session will be coming up, which is for CLG certification. To retain it, it is required that board members attend training. It's scheduled for Saturday, September the 9th. We will need a definitive answer probably by mid-July, and we will let everyone know again by email as to who's going to be in attendance or not. There are only 30 spaces, and if any board members are not going to be there, we would at least like to offer them to other members of the community, maybe some of the board members from the historic district boards. We really do not want to have a training session which is grant funded and have 50% empty seats. So if we don't receive a response, by a predefined date, we're going to have to assume that you will not be in attendance and offer these spaces to other members of the community.
Where's the seminar going to be conducted?
Old Alabama Town, I believe.
Okay. And that's Saturday, September 9th?
Yes, so this is just to give everyone a heads up that it's coming up. We really do need to know, though, probably mid to late July exactly who will be there and who will not be.
We'll also send out additional information about the topics that will be discussed at this training session, just to give y'all an idea of things that will be talked about.
Okay. All right. And you also sent us information about a webinar?
I did, from the NAPC.
It's on Thursday?
Yes, and those also count as training towards our CLG credits. I just need to know, once you watch it, just shoot me an email and let me know that you participated.
All right.
Do you know how long it is, Paul? I'm going to have to forward it to ask you to forward it to my home so I can watch it.
It's like 30 minutes.
Okay.
And even if you don't watch it at lunch, if you register for it, they will send you a link. So if you can't watch it in the middle of the day, you can watch it later on your own time.
Yeah,
and
the
that
Attorney
still
General
counts.
gets a little upset when you start watching webinars in your office without,
We get it.
We'll figure it out. Thank you. I didn't think it would be. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, they're not typically long.
Sometimes I get a little hanky when you do come.